Western leaders have been trying to convince lawmakers about the need to strike Syria. They believe government forces used chemical weapons last week to kill hundreds of civilians in the suburbs of Damascus. But they're facing objections for military action at home. NHK World's Yoshitaka Hirauchi reports.
U.S. President Barack Obama believes there are core interests at stake, and he believes countries that violate international norms need to be held accountable. So members of his administration are consulting with lawmakers to try to win approval to attack Syria.
As the president contemplates what kind of response is appropriate to the situation that we've seen in Syria, the president believes it's important for us to consult with Congress.
Ernest says U.S. analysts will submit their report on the chemical weapons attack before the end of the week. He says any military action would be discreet and limited, and in no way comparable to the war in Iraq. British Prime Minister David Cameron has been making similar arguments. Members of his coalition government proposed a motion that would have authorized British forces to join a strike. But a majority of lawmakers, including members of his own party, rejected the motion.
It is clear to me that the British Parliament, reflecting the views of the British people, does not want to see British military action. I get that, and the government will act accordingly.
Syrian opposition leaders say Western forces need to act quickly to prevent any more chemical attacks by forces loyal to President Bashar al-Assad. They say the more time it takes to make a decision, the more civilian lives will be lost.
Is first, we need to stop Assad from committing additional crimes against Syrians. Number two is those who are responsible for committing these crimes must be brought to justice.
But he said military action should be limited to depriving the Assad regime of the capability to mount chemical attacks. State-run TV quoted Assad as saying an assault will only strengthen national unity. He said Syria will defend itself against any aggression. Yoshitaka Hirauchi, NHK World.
A group of protesters gathered in front of the White House to add their voices to the debate. They wanted President Obama to know that they do not support military action against Syria.
Hands off Syria! Obama! Hands off Syria!
About 70 people took part in the rally. Marchers held banners and posters and shouted slogans calling on Obama to not intervene in the Syrian civil war. Protesters recalled the country's rush to war in Iraq over a decade ago, a move that was based on incorrect information. They cautioned the president against making the same mistake in Syria.
When the people in America voted for President Obama, they thought, finally, George Bush is leaving. No more Bush, no more unilateral wars. But what is President Obama doing? Exactly what President Bush did.
Organizers say similar protests will be held across the U.S. An opinion poll held earlier this week suggests 41% of Americans oppose military action in Syria, while a quarter support it.